All right, really excited to go over this project with you. I have a personal passion for this because I'm kind of a Zillow junkie, and the goal of this project was to make real estate data listings for homes be much more insightful as to their meaning. So, if you go into Zillow, the user experience is that you can filter by properties in a multitude of ways for your parameters, but what you can't really tell is this a good listing in a safe area? And I think that this is very important because many buyers have these questions. However, to find this answer, you have to go aggregate all this data yourself, or have an agent who knows the area. And these things can be tricky. So the idea was, can we have language models assess these factors based off of the existing data? So that's what we've constructed here. So to walk through the whole project, what we're doing and how this works. So there was data ingestion tasks. So pulling from an API to get Zillow data, and then pulling from multiple different formats of CSV data, and then constructing all that crime data into a common format to bring in crime data for the last year in any given area. So we have Atlanta, Houston, Baltimore, a couple other places that we pulled crime data for samples for this. So once those two data sets are pulled in, then we start to do some of our agentic workflows. So the first thing that we do is assess the market exceptionality. So if the property comes in and it is a good deal, that is determined by the agent by an assessment of that property against all other properties like it in the local area. So it'll be assessed in a triple status: good deal, average deal, and a poor deal. And on the map, we've just symbolized those with a stoplight type symbology, where it's it's average deal, or a good deal, or a bad deal. A spot check of this does find what I would consider as a consumer to match that in most cases. However, there are some situations where we could expand the way that this is assessing the listings. Then from there, there's a agent that reassesses the market exceptionality after the first agent passed. So it's sort of like a senior agent sort of quality checks the second level. At a second level, at a higher level, it considers, okay, was I correct in my assessment for market exceptionality? The crime impact is assessed without a language model. It is assessed purely off of a spatial relative score that each property gets based off of the amount of crime that is around it. And if it's more crime than in other areas, that would be considered, that would increase the crime impact. So you can see in North Atlanta, we have an average deal, high crime impact. Most of these properties have that high crime impact. There just is, I think, in this pocket of Atlanta, just more, or at least just around these properties, right? That's particularly relevant because maybe you may find a really good deal that is in a high crime impact area like this one. Okay. So after those analyses are created, those provide some attributes in the data table about that listing, which then are considered by this agent that creates this top picks product. So the top pick for the real estate listing is good deal, low crime impact in almost every case. And what that agent does is it receives all the data about all the listings, that listing and all the ones like it. And what it considers is it makes a decision to articulate that this is truly a cream of the crop type listing. Like, this is an exceptional listing. Now, it is instructed to make these rare and for these to be truly provided as, hey, this is a statistically accurate top pick, right? Everything about it is what you're going to want to buy. So just to show you, I'll go over to Houston. We'll maybe pop open a couple more examples, right? So one thing I've noticed, this whole area here, lots of top picks, right? Against the rest of the Houston market, right? Not so much. We have some good deals. However, we don't have those top picks everywhere. So it's a really cool way to see how, this agent really did decide that certain listings are exceptional and then certain ones are not. So that was the goal there. And the value here is that it removes the burden on the user to go through and assess and understand if what they found truly is a gem or not. The language model just does that for you. So the way that I've constructed this project, we just have the agents are just running in a couple different Python files, interacting with a language model locally through Ollama, which is running through PowerShell, and then we have SQLite as the database, which it's neither here nor there. We could transfer to Postgres instance, etc. And what we're doing is just creating that data through these agents that are just gathering this data out of the database, and then they're prompted to assess that. So here's an example of an assessment where it's saying, hey, if my final assessment is that it's a bad deal, and then what we do is when we see bad deal, we capture bad deal as the assessment and then log that into the table. And this on the initial listing market exceptionality, we gauge that initial exceptionality, and then we refine the market exceptionality. Then we do the top picks, and then do the crime impact, right? So there's a pipeline when things are humming, when we're pulling in data, and when we're giving it assessment that it needs to go through to ultimately be parsed at the level where it could be considered for a top pick. And so overall a simple project, but it does show how you can take language models and you could point them at different aspects of the data, give it a pool of memory, and then give those different tasks, and then receive, a diverse output on the other side where you say, hey, I want to know different things about, a baseline data set. Can you give me that? And this is an example where it can't. So anyhow, I hope that this explainer was helpful, and thanks so much for watching.